Some things are meant to stay hidden, not because they're harmless, but because the truth they carry is the kind that doesn't just break you, it rebuilds you into someone you no longer recognize. This is the story of Daniel, a man who picked up his girlfriend's phone to turn off an alarm, and instead turned off everything he thought he knew about his life. Daniel Mercer was, by every visible measure, a man in love. 31 years old, graphic designer, quiet ambitions. He'd been with Sophia for 2 years that felt to him like the safest place he'd ever lived. She was warm, thoughtful, the kind of woman who left sticky notes on the bathroom mirror and remembered how he took his coffee without being told. They shared an apartment on the 4th floor of a building on Greystone Avenue, a modest place. Mismatched furniture, too many plants, and a kitchen window that fogged up every winter morning. To Daniel, it was perfect. He wasn't a suspicious man, never felt the need to be. He trusted Sophia the way people trust gravity, without thinking about it, without questioning it, without ever imagining a world where it simply stopped working. That trust was his foundation. And on a Tuesday night in November, that foundation cracked. It started with an alarm. Sophia had fallen asleep on the couch, her phone buzzing on the coffee table, a 10 p.m. reminder she'd set and forgotten about. Daniel reached over without thinking. He just wanted to silence it, that's all. One tap, and that's all it was supposed to be. But as the screen lit up, he saw it. A message preview, front and center, from a contact saved simply as M. And the preview read, "Last night was different. You know what I mean. Don't pretend you don't feel it too." Daniel sat very still. The kind of stillness that isn't calm, it's the stillness of a body in shock, of a mind trying to process something it wasn't built to accept. He looked at Sophia sleeping, her face soft, unguarded, peaceful, the face he kissed every morning. He looked back at the phone. He should have put it down, he knew that. Some part of him, the part that still believed in the world he'd built, was screaming at him to put it down. He didn't. He opened it. What Daniel found in that thread was not a single moment of weakness. It was a conversation, weeks long, intimate in a way that went beyond the physical. Whoever M was, they knew Sophia, really knew her. They referenced inside jokes Daniel had never heard, mentioned places she'd told him she'd visited alone, work trips, weekend getaways with friends, lies he'd believed without a second thought. His hands were shaking now. He scrolled further, and that's when something shifted from heartbreak into something colder, something that didn't quite make sense. Because buried in the middle of the thread, Sophia had written something that stopped him completely. "He still doesn't know who you are, and that's the only reason this works." Daniel read it 3 times. He still doesn't know who you are. Not, he doesn't know about us. Not, he can't find out. Who you are. That was a different sentence entirely. That was something else. Daniel didn't confront Sophia that night. He did something that frightened even himself. He waited. He screenshotted nothing, said nothing, acted like a man who'd seen nothing. And over the next 4 days, he watched. He paid attention in a way he never had before. Not out of love, but out of something sharper, something investigative. He noticed she stepped outside to take calls he was never told about. He noticed a second email account minimized on her laptop, one he'd never seen. He noticed, on a Thursday morning, a name scrawled on a post-it note in her handwriting, tucked under her side of the mattress. Marcus Vane. He searched the name that night while Sophia slept. Marcus Vane, 43, based in the city, ran a private consulting firm. At least, that's what the surface showed. But dig a little deeper, and the digital trail went thin. Too thin for a man who seemed so confidently in the real world. No social media, no property records, business registration only 2 years old, right around the time Sophia and Daniel had started dating. And then, Daniel found something that made the floor feel like it disappeared beneath him. A photograph, an old LinkedIn profile, deleted but cached. Marcus Vane, years younger, standing at an event, next to Sophia, arms around each other, labeled in the caption, M. Vane and S. Vane, Charity Gala 2019. S. Vane. Sophia's last name was Calloway. That's what she'd told him. That's what was on the lease, on her work badge, on every document he'd ever seen. But here, in a photograph 3 years before they met, she was someone else entirely. Daniel left the apartment the next morning without waking her. He sat in his car for 40 minutes. Then he called the one person he trusted completely, his older brother Liam, who worked in financial fraud investigation. He sent him the photo, the name, the dates. Liam called back in under an hour. His voice when he spoke had a quality Daniel had never heard in it before. Careful, measured, a little afraid. "Daniel," he said, "Marcus Vane isn't her affair partner. He's her husband. They've been married for 6 years, and Daniel, the firm he runs it's a front. We don't know what for yet, but the people connected to it, these aren't small-time people." Daniel couldn't speak. "Where are you right now?" Liam asked. "I'm outside the apartment," Daniel said. "Don't go back in there," Liam said quietly. "Not alone." Daniel never did learn the full truth. Not officially, not cleanly. What he learned in fragments over the months that followed was enough. Sophia Calloway, if that was even real, had been living a double life long before he met him. What role he was meant to play in it, he was never entirely sure. Maybe he was cover, maybe he was convenience, maybe, and this was the thought that haunted him most, maybe he was something else entirely, something planned. The investigation into Marcus Vane and the firm expanded. Names were involved that made headlines. Sophia disappeared from the apartment 3 days after that morning. No note, no call, nothing missing except her and one single bag, like she always had an exit ready. And sometimes, late at night, Daniel picks up his phone and wonders if the alarm was ever an accident, or if it was the one moment in 2 years she wanted him to find out. He still hasn't an answer. Neither do we. If this story stayed with you, you're not alone. Drop a comment. What do you think Sophia was really after? And if you're new here, welcome to NarrateX. Subscribe. The next story is already waiting.